Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at techtrader.com. It's Tuesday, the 18th of July, and it was a turnaround Tuesday as the markets went higher today. It had a really good session for us. Most of our trading stocks did pretty well today. In front of us, we have AAOI, which we've been following for months ever since it broke out and continued, and this particularly in January when it spiked up through 30. Since then, it's tripled, but it's still in a rising channel, and after a 6-week consolidation coil, it's absolutely ripped from 59 to 91 just in the last couple of weeks. So obviously, I don't want to get overly enthusiastic about a stock that's this far, this fast. But I will say this momentum could carry this to 100, even 110 before it pulls back down. We'll see. 3.6 days to cover. AGEN now was brought to my attention by BK today. I looked at it and I said, this looks damn good. Look at the large falling wedge, the double bottom base, the pop and platform, the breakout, the retest right there, and then the run up to resistance. We get through here, we might very well see 5 3/4 to 590 in the next couple of days. This is a very interesting breakout, and I think the volume, with the volume picking up and technicals improving, this looks like it could make it up that area and may even have a secondary target up around 7.5 or 8. If you look at it, that zone, that would be my secondary target. There's 9.8 days to cover. This could do one of these things here up in that zone. CBAY, one of our swing trades, after announcing a secondary and getting smacked to 4 3/4 last night, it opened at 550, ran up to 7, closed at 694 at the upper end of the range, up 96 cents on 5.2 million. That's a 16% run up. Very nice. And there's less than 2 days to cover on this one, so I'm not sure how far we go, but let's see if he gets up and retests the high from yesterday, which was 777, and then surpasses that. If it does, I'm looking at near 9 for a target. Here's a stock we haven't talked about in a while. Some of you remember Eros. When we first spotted a post-public listing here, it had a massive 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big fifth wave up. That eventually took it from $8 or $9 all the way into the high 30s. It then got crushed. Spent last winter consolidating and moved up the springtime of 2016 before a big pullback. Now, after double bottoming in this zone, actually triple bottoming or more, holding the $9 range, it ran up to resistance and pulled back, and today broke out big time with $1.4 million traded. It was up $1.15 or almost 10%. There's 28 days to cover short. The squeeze is on. Watch this one tomorrow, because if it gets to 1330, it could be 15 pretty quickly. My secondary target would have to be upwards of 17, and eventually possibly a run at somewhere in the, let's just call it 19 range. So 15, 17, 19 potentially, particularly for a stock that's had much higher levels at some point. Swing trade Impax Therapeutics or Fold, acting great in here as it popped, consolidated, exploded, pulled back, held the gap, and ran up, pulled back again, and then ran up again today, up another 90 cents or almost 7%. Volume was 7.9 million, heavy volume. I'm looking for 15 and 18 going forward. There's 11.4 days to cover. This is a beauty. First Solar, speaking about beauties, acting great. From where we spotted it on the breakout and the pullback, I gave you something around 33.4 range. It's now reached 44.66, 10 points. And a massive 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth wave's underway. We may very well get an extension quickly to take this one up towards 47, 48 zone. I'm not sure if it's going to extend much beyond that before it pulls back, but there is 5 days to cover. That could fuel the fire. IPXL, I'm really liking this left shoulder type pattern, head, right shoulder type pattern. Let's call it what you will, a right-handed extended V or inverse head and shoulder, doesn't matter. It's had a nice move up, a 3-wave corrective. Let's call this wave 1 and 2. And wave 3 has had a 1, 2, and wave 3 is underway. I think wave 3 gets to like 20 before it's over, and then pulls back and runs into the low to mid-20s at some point. Almost 4 days to cover short. I like the overall structure, the look of it, and the technicals. Speaking of solars, JKS. Wow, look at that move. Like 8 days in a row, it's gone from 19.25 to 25.5. Now it's near resistance, right there. It's near the declining tops line. It has overshot by a bit. Actual top line was right about there. So when you extend that far that fast, you're bound for a pullback. But with 5.3 days to cover and in a strong group, it may very well get to 28.5, 29 before it does that. KEM, our swing trade, continues to act well and presses higher, up another 34 cents or 2%, but another new multi-year high. is the highest level in Kim since, well, let's see if it reaches up here. 17, that was back in 2011, so we're talking about a 6-year high here. And so that's going to be a resistance zone, but eventually I can see this going to mid-20s. Nectar's active. Today, Nectar popped 94 cents or 4.5% and traded 2.2 million. I like that volume. This is the biggest volume on an up day going back to May 24th, 2 months. And it's on a breakout day. So I'm looking for a run to 25 to 27 zone. 9.4 days to cover. Nutanix. The swing trade after we gave it to you there and it backed off for a week on low volumes, acting nice, consolidating in a wedge and holding trend line and moving averages. It's exploded. In the last 5 sessions, having gone from about 18.5 to near 24 today, 23.93. That was my target was around 24.5, and then I'm looking for mid-range target around 27.5. If we do extend there, that could happen pretty quickly. It's 3.5 days to cover. Or it could back and fill in there, which would set up an ideal situation for a move towards 30, and then maybe, eventually, a run at 34. Puma, well, resumed its advance today with a pop of 7.35, 8.5%, 3.4 million. Best volume in months, weeks anyway. It's at the top of the channel I drew in, but I think 100 and 110 are doable here. 4.8 days to cover on Puma. Good news today on their breast cancer drug. QDEL, well, QDEL Corp exploded yesterday. Big follow through today. I can see this getting up towards 43 before it pulls back and consolidates. Good chart. 18.2 days to cover. Here's your longer term look. You can see it's in a beautiful rising channel. And essentially, I got a target at 48.50. Let's call this 48. Soda. Well, we haven't talked about soda since I've been upset about not giving you a swing trade on that breakaway gap and flag here. And then another flag. And then another and another. And then another breakaway. And you can see how this has been beautiful all year. Having gone from 12 to high 50s. And yet, the recent consolidation, wedge type pattern, was broken. It's now up 6 days in a row and broken out to new highs. I think it gets to mid-channel around 65. Eventually gets up towards 80. But there is multi-year highs up here, and I believe in a 75 range, 77, 78. That would be my target for a retest of those old highs up there on soda. That's where it looks like right there. 4.96 days to cover in soda. SPWR, well, it's acting great. Along with First Solar, we're doing very well with some of our solar stocks. You can see the pop today was up 70 cents or 6.75% on 7.3 million. Good volume. I think it goes higher. Although there is a gap here. The target at the gap is about 12.5. It may pull back and consolidate at that point. Eventually, I'm looking for 14 and 17. 6.43 days to cover. Trivago's doing great after the IPO. It ripped, wedge, popped, and it's wedging now. The wedge broke today. It was up $1.41 or 6.3% on 1.2 million. Looks like it wants to go. My target's at 27 and 33. I may issue a swing on this if it breaks tomorrow. YRD, boy, that recovered nicely. After basing out, look at the big run it had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. And then it pulled back and consolidated for almost a year. Recently, exploding again. Today up 289 at 9%. Just 5 days to cover short. Volume is picking up. The problem is the shorts are overbought, or is it going to make it run at 42, 43, where resistance lies? At this peak, 42.34 from last August. We'll see. But that's it for tonight, and those are some ideas going forward. Good night, everybody.